So, Dougie Lampkin, welcome to BikeSocial. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your day today to talk to us. Obviously, we're here at Sheffield Arena. I had a couple of months out of the DL12 2023 or 2024 trial, sorry, because it's in January. We'll come on to that a little bit later. Just walking into this arena though, what kind of memories do you get back? Is it a little bit, I suppose it's a little bit like John McGuinness stepping on the Isle of Man, isn't it? Because this place holds some special memories for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, my father and his business partner, Neil Crossway, sadly both of them have passed away now, and yeah, they managed to get 25 years out of doing indoor trials here. So way back in '96, Neil and my dad concocted this idea of running an indoor trial in the UK, in the pub, obviously. And yeah, amazingly they carried it on 25 years, something, you know, really special that probably never be repeated. And obviously with them passing on, there was an option for me to sort of take over and do it, and it was after COVID. The arena was still a couple of the same staff, and yeah, they contacted me and see what I thought about the idea, and the rest is history really. And like you said, it is a really historical place. I had a lot of victories here. It was really memorable, the first one, and I beat Geordie Tarras, who was like my hero at that time, and somebody that I'd always wanted, and I sort of beat him on my home turf, and it really got the season going well, as it continued to do over the next few years, and then eventually I got taken over.
Let's just talk about your career, because obviously 12 times world champion, MBE, I forgot to mention that as well. McGuinness is going to berate me for that, because he always says we should call you MBE. Just talk us through your career, because obviously maybe a lot of people on our channel and our viewers don't really know a lot about trials. So I mean, a 12-time world champion, not many people do that, do they?
No, exactly. Obviously trials is one of the smaller sport which has sort of been amazing for me. My surname's Lampkin, so that means motorbikes. However, I was never pushed onto riding any motorbikes. In fact, I probably played more golf until I was about 12, and then decided to push a lot harder on the bikes. Always been trials, which is pretty much what the family's been. Again, it's just something that I started getting quite a bit better, sort of really at the end of my schoolboy days. I had very little success during the schoolboys, and then when I was 17, went to the European Championship just to see how the level was and see how things were getting on. You know, there was no internet and no social media to sort of have a look at to see how good everybody was. Finished 6th in the first round, decided to go to the next round in Spain, and won. So ended up winning the championship that season. That got me a little bit more help from the Beta factory at that time. And obviously my cousin John was importing the bike already then, so you know, that was a good head start to get me going. And that's where the season sort of started rolling then, and the championship soon came. First outdoor championship in '97, and then I won 7 consecutively, and 5 consecutively for the indoor championship as well. So yeah, fantastic opportunity there to ride in that. Obviously the world's absolutely great. I won several Spanish championships, quite a few British championships, and various other things, and then like I said, just rounded off with the MBE in the 2000 honours list is you know, something special.
I mean, I was listening to a podcast with you, a Gas It Out podcast from
Yeah.
way back in like the COVID days, and you were saying just how busy your calendar was. It's not like a BSB rider or MotoGP rider where they know they go testing in February and they're finishing in the middle of November, and then that's it until the start of January again. Your calendar was full for 365 days of the year, wasn't it, with events?
Yeah, it was amazing really. We sort of had to live in Spain because that's where the factory was. We needed absolute full support. We were trying to run 3 bikes consecutively, and I was just absolutely in the glory years. Geordie Tarras had sort of built up this scene. He was sponsored by the banks, drinks companies, insurance companies, massive oil companies in Spain. He really was, you know, the Fortuna cigarette companies. And he just lifted everything. It was massive, and I had a contract to ride for the biggest promoter to maximum do 36 indoor trials a year. So at that time I rode for Honda, so I had to ride the Spanish Championship because of the Repsol petrol giants. So I was doing 10 rounds of the Spanish Championship, 36 indoor trials under contract, and then the World Indoor and Outdoor So we were doing, well, 4 indoors on a weekend's my record. So 2 in Spain, 1 in France and 1 in Italy. So yeah, so we were rotating bikes quick, and it was lucky I was riding for Honda at that time with the Montesa, because the team was massive. It was ridiculous, but that was off the back of Geordie really, and that's yeah, them days are sadly not just like they were.
I mean, I suppose for a trials rider like yourself, it's easier to go out training, it's easier to ride a bike than it is for a road rider, or if it is for MotoGP or World Superbike, because literally you can just pull your bike out the back of a van up at Tong, for example, and you can go and do whatever you want within reason, can't you? You know, do you feel that maybe that's one advantage that a trials rider or an up-and-coming trials rider can have in their armour, if you like?
Yeah, for sure. We were very lucky. We sort of always lived throughout me growing up. All my family had all lived in a similar sort of area, so we knew a lot of the landowners. So we were sort of welcome on the land. In Spain, it's just a lot easier to be able to, you know, live and let live over there. If you want to go riding over there, you go riding. There's very little issues. Obviously that's changing in the world everywhere, and things are getting more complicated for motorbikes, and you don't need a circuit, and we didn't need this and we didn't need that, so that was all certainly made it a lot easier from that part. But yeah, it's one of those spots where you need to be on the bike as well, and you can see, you know, a lot of the lads now, they live in Andorra and places like that. Sam Sunderland, Billy Ball, all those sort of people are living over there, and they're riding a lot of trials. It is great training anyway, and for me, in my period of riding, training was my best you know, form of exercise. I've just put more and more hours on the bike, and I know a lot of people in other sports have to do a lot in the gym and sort of try and replicate it. We were lucky that we could just actually do the job. You
mentioned there about the hours on the bike. I suppose if we look back to when you were younger, just realistically, how many hours a week or a month were you putting in on the bike? Because trials is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it's the same as, you know, when you go golfing. You know, you might get a bit sick of golfing, and you never got sick of riding my bike. I rode every day except Mondays. We had a test rider at Montesa who became, like, you know, one of my best friends, Amos Bilbao, and he was like, we don't ride on Mondays. You've got to have a day off. But then in some periods, if the bike wasn't working well, or especially when we started developing the 4-stroke Honda, the 4RT, were having such a nightmare in the beginning that we were flying back from indoors on Sunday morning and getting picked up by another set of mechanics from the airport in Barcelona and going straight riding again. So, and that went on for, I was going to say weeks, but really it was months. And the Japanese were flying backwards and forwards. It was sort of all hands on deck. You look back now thinking that's ridiculous, but actually we were living the dream. It was absolutely great. And then, you know, it sounds really strange to say it, but you get to a period in your career where you don't want to ride your bike on Tuesday morning, and you find an excuse, and then on Wednesday you're not desperate to go on it anyway, and on Thursday you go on it because you didn't go on it the last 2 days, which, you know, probably sounds odd to everybody that you didn't want to do that, but that's the stage that comes, and that's when you need to call it a day.
I mean, you've said like calling it a day there, but you haven't called it a day, have you? You're still riding. And did you do the Scottish 6-day trial this year?
Yeah,
I thought you did.
Yeah, I did the Scottish again.
And that's not an easy event, is it?
No. I rode with my son Alfie, who's been waiting for quite a few years to ride. Both kids are riding now. One's massively into enduro and doing the British Championship, Fraser, which is great. He's 15, and Alfie's 18. He's ridden in the World Junior Championship, finished 4th this year. Yeah, he rode the Scottish, so it was great to go up and ride with him. We'd been away for 3 weeks just before it at the Spanish and Portuguese World Round, so my expectations weren't massively high, but yeah, ended up winning. So that's got a bit of a problem really. I can't just go for the competing and enjoy myself. My race head goes on, and yeah, it won't go away. I wish it would sometimes. It would be just nice to, you know, to just tip up on a weekend and ride with the family, but I just don't see it happening.
You mentioned it there, the 2 lads riding now, 2 lads riding in trials. Do you feel a little bit like your old man did back in the day, looking after them and making sure that they're doing the right thing? Because I think there's a video that always pops up on Facebook somewhere along the line of your old man properly shouting at you and telling you where to go and what to do and how to do it. And are you like that, or are you very much hands off and let them?
Yeah,
let them make their own
it's a
mistakes?
little bit. Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest ever videos. Is that in '93 at Bailey's Gap at the World Round, Section 5. I know just which one you're talking about. But yeah, I think so really. It's obviously coming round full circle again. My dad took me. I was looking forward to retiring and doing a lot less, but now I seem to be doing a lot more. Like I said, one's gone down the enduro route, one's gone down the trials route. Rode very little before COVID, but you know, forced to stay at home for a long time. Started riding the bikes and sort of fell in love with it. To be honest, I absolutely love it. We're really busy taking them round, but yeah, we like to moan about it a bit, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's nice. I think they've got pressure on them. I think they've got more pressure than what I had on myself. You know, carrying our name nowadays is different with all, like I said before, all the social media and things like that. There's a lot of expectation. I think Alfie's done really well this year. He's got a fourth and sort of established himself a little bit instead of Dougie's son turning up. People now realise, you know, that's Alfie. This is his level, and yeah, he's off to spend a lot more time in Spain training, just exactly what I did really, and you know, let's see what happens.
Is it nice to see that obviously just sort of letting him go off and do his own thing, if you
Absolutely, yeah. You can't force anybody to spend the amount of time that you need to do on that, and we just recently had the Scott trial back in middle of October, and Alfie and his and my nephew Harry Hemingway, who's going to be riding here in Sheffield in January, they literally didn't get off the bikes for a month, and I've told it to many people. They both put in more time than what I've ever done for the Scott trial. They were living at our house, they were living at Harry's house, they were back at 5 o'clock, gone again at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they did that every day. They never missed a day, and you can't force anybody to do that. There's only you can do that. It's hard work. You shut everything else off. You're not going out with your mates, you're not doing this. You know, the 17 and 18-year-old kids, you've got to really hit it hard. So, you know, them going to Spain and putting that amount of effort speaks volumes about what their aim is, not what my aim is.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on then. Let's talk about DL12 2024. Let's talk about the trial.
Yeah.
What can people expect from the trial? Because I came to it in January of this year, and it blew my mind. So just for you, I came as a kid with my old man and saw you going up the waterfall in that bottom corner and all those kind of things. So it brought back a load of memories for me. But just what can people expect from this year?
Yeah, I think what's important is obviously we don't have any other indoor trials in the UK, you know, so we get one option to make it absolutely brilliant, and we've got the top 5 in the world coming. I think that's obviously the main thing, and then the British boys are coming as well. But you know, trials is one of those sports where you don't go home going, I'll have a go at that. Mm-hmm. Let's build a step like that. Whereas what you're going to see is pushing them to the absolute limits. As unfortunately Toni did have a big crash. He doesn't fall off that often, doesn't Toni? That's how far we push the riders here to get the absolute best, and they moan a little bit through the day when they're looking at the sections that I've made it push the limit a little bit, but they know that it's always going to be a hard trial what we're setting out, and you just get the opportunity to so close see all that action and those amazing riders. And then obviously during the day we have the expo as well, so it's a really sort of day out for the family, not just the evening to watch the bikes for a couple of hours. You can mingle with it, have a look at the sections in some cases, and yeah, it's a proper day out and a unique opportunity to see the world's best so close. Yeah,
it's really cool because like literally you could go up into the warm-up area and just watch them warming up, can't you? You don't get that in any of the world events. You know, you can't get that at BSB, MotoGP or anything like that, so it's really impressive.
Yeah, no, it is different. It's nice how you can bring the family. You don't have to trudge out into the middle of the fields. We get very few times to watch the big boys. There's no World Outdoor round this year in the UK, so you know, Toni Bou's only coming once. Mm-hmm. Adam Raga, he's not got many years left, but he's always been a firm favourite with the English fans, and that's they make a lot of noise.
They do make a lot of noise, don't they?
The Steelers are warming up. Luckily, I'm not playing today. But yeah, no, that's what the main event is, and then obviously we throw in some of the Brits against it as well. Obviously, Billy Green, Trial 2 world champion, had an amazing year. Looked like he'd thrown it away on the first day of the last weekend, finished outside the points. I think he was 18th. He definitely had his head down, came back and won. and took the championship. Unbelievable. Obviously Harry Hemingway, nephew, had a great event last year, a big learning curve, ended up with quite a few fives, nerves, head went down a little bit. He'll be looking to sort of make that change. And then Toby Martin, you know, is absolutely flying in the X-Trial World Championship just the other weekend, podium again. Yeah, really impressive. So yeah, we've got a fantastic lineup, and you know, quite a few special guests as well. It's going to be a great weekend. A lot of work to do before then, though. I was
going to say, you haven't got long left, because it is sort of middle of January, start of January time, isn't it?
Yeah, 13th of Jan.
Yeah. So realistically, then, what can people expect from the course? Because last year it was hard, and I think you probably, I don't know if you took delight in it, but you were probably the only man to break Toni Bou ever. So
yeah, that was a bit of a shame, but I'm blaming him for a bad line. I told him that as well. We knew we were in trouble. We knew he was in pain, and you know, one of my great friends is a doctor, and I had him here, and he advised Toni that he should stop, and it was the right thing to do. He just got it wrong. It spun on him a little bit. He landed really awkwardly, but yeah, he sort of managed to hit everything when he landed. He was cut on the back here. His shoulder was cut as well. He was in a bit of a state, so he'll want to sort that out this time round.
Tickets still available for the evening?
Yeah, tickets are available through the website for the arena, and also through the DL12 Indoor Trial website. Yeah, looking forward to a great evening and a great day through the expo.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure that we put a link in the comments and links to everything, so people can get the tickets, because it is a great evening. Obviously you're going to be here, and like you say, you've got Toni Bou here and Adam Raga, all the big names.
Yeah.
Dougie, thank you very much. We'll let these boys warm up.
No problem.
Otherwise we're going to get hit by a puck. Thank you very much for your time, appreciate it, and we'll see you in January.
Thank you, see you in January.